3 tips for better planning. Assalamu alaikum, this is your brother Mohammad Arshad, and in this video I want to share with you 3 simple tips that will make planning so much easier for you. Okay, so the first tip I want to give you is making sure that you research as much as you can. Now let's assume that you're going on a journey. What you want to do is you want to know everything about that journey. You want to know where you want to go. You want to know how you're going to get there. You want to know the different options, the different times, the different costings. So we're very lucky because alhamdulillah, now with the advent of the internet, we can find so much information out there. Not only from the places we want to go, like hotels and stuff, but actual user experiences, right? And so what you need to know is that whether you're planning to build a house or you're planning to take a journey, the more information you have before you do anything, the better your planning will be. So just gather that all up, create a simple document, a Word document or a Google Doc or whatever you use, even on your phone, and just note everything possible that you need to know about that. That's the first tip. The second tip I would say is make sure that you overestimate everything. Overestimate everything. What do I mean by this? For example, I just got back from a journey and I had to take the Eurotunnel, right? So there's a train that goes. They were saying you need to be there 45 minutes before. So in my head, I said, right, if they're saying you're going to be there 45 minutes before, I will make sure that I plan to get there at least 1 hour before, right? And then when I'm thinking about, all the kind of deadlines in the journey, I'm trying to overestimate everything. If it's saying, oh, it's going to take 20 minutes, I'm saying, okay, assume that it takes 30 minutes. If they're saying it's going to cost £40, I'm like, okay, let's imagine that it's going to cost £50. So you want to leave in a bit of a buffer, because if you do things the other way around, where you keep it to a minimum, when problems come up, you're gonna really suffer. So for example, let's say that the airport allows you to get there 2 hours before, right? Me personally, if it says like an international flight, I would try and get there more than 3 hours before. Now, imagine you kind of cut it really finely, you're on your way there, and then suddenly you realize your passport's gone, right? Like you don't have your passport with you, or there's a big accident. Like it could put your whole flight in jeopardy, your whole trip on jeopardy, because you kept it so tight. And this is one of the big mistakes that people make, that when it comes down to it, they actually underestimate things. So you want to go the other way, you want to overestimate everything. Whatever it's asking you, costs, time, everything, just expand it and pretend that you add on a buffer of, I don't know, like 15-20% depending upon what it is. So that's the second tip. And then the third and final tip is use checklists. Use checklists, okay? So checklists are super amazing. Sometimes it can feel like, why do I need a checklist? I'm leaving the house to go somewhere, right? But you have to remember that checklists are something that will really help us. It will help us to do a great job and stop us from making mistakes. So the types of people that use checklists are airline pilots. Like my brother's a qualified airline pilot. He tells me that they've got so many different checklists they have to do in every kind of situation. Even if, Allah forbid, there's an emergency on the plane, they have a checklist to go through, right? And even people like surgeons, like they're doing such an important job, they don't want to miss anything, so they have a checklist as well. So you could create a simple checklist whenever you're going on a trip. Like I have one for international travel and stuff, where it says, okay, did you take your international plug? Did you take your passport? Did you? And so before you leave the house, you just basically look at that list. It's very simple. You look at all the things on the list and like, have I got that? Check. I've got all that stuff. Okay, great. Bismillah, we're ready to go. And as you're traveling, and you find that you need other things, you can add those to the checklist as well, right? So hopefully these 3 tips, inshallah, they'll help you to plan better. Let me just go through them again. So the first tip is for you to research as much as you can about everything you need to do. Second thing is for you to overestimate everything, make sure there's buffers in place. And the third thing is use checklists to help remind you about important things on the journey. I hope it helps, and inshallah I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.